Paulie, last night's game on Sunday Night Football, I mean, that was this current version of Green Bay. I don't even know what we're watching compared to the team that we watched for the first, month, 6 weeks, 8 weeks of the season. This is an entirely different team, a totally different quarterback in Jordan Love. Do we just scrap his first start to the season, like what I talked about here, and now this is the guy that we're going to get moving forward?
Yeah.
This is incredible. We owe the guy an apology.
Yes. You thinking you're going to have to move on in the offseason, and now he's the answer for the future? And LaFleur could be in Coach of the Year running now, what this turnaround has been. And I can't believe the guy's 16-0 in December, which, a lot of that's Rodgers. But they're now minus 230 at DraftKings to make the playoffs. And if he plays like that, and the guy we saw on Thanksgiving, I don't want to see him in the first round. I mean, this is I'm shocked by the turnaround. I'm shocked they've been able to flip the switch like this. And as Collinsworth pointed out numerous times, their schedule is so easy coming up. And if they got that one last night, if they can hang on and they can win, watch out. Well, they won. So now, 230 could be cheap because you go Giants, Tampa, Carolina, Minnesota, and Chicago. Yeah, it's right there for them.
And so here's what you really have to like, too. The last two games on Thanksgiving and then last night, those were not flukes. And the Lions are, I'm not really buying into the Lions this year, but they're a good football team. They controlled that game the entire time. Last night, no fluke. Those two drives to begin the game. And by the way, the game was without drives for the most part, which was so strange because they just melted time off the clock and both teams went down to score either a touchdown or a field goal to begin that entire first half. Only 5 drives. I'm not going to consider the last kneel down for the Chiefs, so that's a little weird. But that's 120 minutes now combined against two of the teams with the best records in football combined, and you controlled them from start to finish for the most part? That is damn impressive, and I'll one-up you. Coach of the Year for LaFleur, okay, maybe not quite that far, I guess. He completely outcoached Andy Reid last night. I thought the play calling, the execution, the stuff they did in motion, as Collinsworth was talking about the misdirection, that is a good Chiefs defense last night, and they did not have an answer for him.
Yeah, right. And you also, I love how you're aggressive late. I love the play to Watson. I love the gadget stuff, and I love being aggressive as opposed to many coaches just going to run into the line and then take their chances. Now, you can't take the sack there late. They made the field goal anyways, but that was a mistake that he made. But excellent job in turnaround. And I know Steichen's going to get a lot of support, but not to say he's going to win it. But LaFleur's definitely in the discussion now with this turnaround. But we also look at the same thing we've been talking about for all season. What if Kansas City can't get this fixed and figured out on off? 19 points. 19 points again.
Yep.
And Green Bay gets the key stop, and Kansas City with some silly mistakes and beat themselves. And who do you trust with the wide receiver position? And still, you thought Kelsey would go off because Taylor Swift takes the private jet and is at the game. Now, the schedule's very easy the rest of the way, but that's enormous because now they're going to play the Bills. The Buffalo season's on the line, and it looks like maybe they're not going to host the game this year because that's a killer loss when you're talking about the 1 or 2 seed for Kansas City standpoint.
They are currently the 4 seed right now in the AFC. And so, yeah, they do have tiebreakers over Jacksonville, who's the 3, and Miami, who is the 1. But what if those teams win more games than the Chiefs, which is entirely possible at this point?
Yeah.
So, blowing games like that last night, they could not finish drives. So that was a problem. They were settling for field goals quite a bit. And, no, you're right. Again, who's going to be – is it going to be Rice? Is Kelsey going to be like the guy? What did he have last night? I think 4 for 81, I believe, overall in the final box score. That's not going to be enough, evidently, to carry the offense overall. Pacheco was awesome last night, but you couldn't get enough in the running or the passing game to actually win the game as a 6-point favorite. So, and I know for a side note here, sportsbooks absolutely needed the Packers last night because it was going to be another bloodbath with everything tied into the Chiefs last night, right? Because favorites did go 9-2 straight up, but 8-3 ATS, and then you get all the parlays, the teaser, the money line stuff tied into the Chiefs, and so it would have been the second consecutive week where the bettors really took a hammer to the sports books across the country.
Well, I could say third. Last 3 weeks, 33-8 straight up. But going back, 22-5 straight up the last couple of weeks. Well, Kansas City can talk about it after the game, and I mean that is a blatant PI on
horrible call.
Scantling. I mean that's this. Yeah, KC gets a lot of calls. And I know you were bothered by the officiating. The hit on Mahomes was ridiculous.
Oh, it's outrageous. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's going to be first and goal. I mean, he's there early, and he's all over him, and they don't call it.
The final 2 minutes of that game last night were a travesty. Because not only was Mahomes still in bounds, the defender for Green Bay is trying to make a play to stop him from getting the first down.
That's right.
And keep the clock running.
That's right.
Massive. You cannot, and it's just by default. Here we go, call the flag.
Well, you hit him hard.
You know, it's so stupid. I hate the rules in this sport. And then it's completely egregious what happened to MVS. That's 1,000% pass interference. You have to call that. And I actually appreciated the lengthy conversation on NBC last night from all involved regarding the Hail Mary. Because if that's not a Hail Mary, that's, again, blatant pass interference.
Yeah, just grabbing
because
people.
You can't, and I like the way, I think it was Collinsworth who said it. He's like, a lot of times it's going to be like a scrum. There's going to be so much contact. You're not going to call anything. It's happening on both sides. But when you have Owens there pushing off with both hands like that and Kelsey goes flying, that's pass interference. I'm sorry. So they completely botched the game last night. And it happens way too often in this sport still.
Yeah.
It's sickening. I don't know how they can get this stuff wrong all the time like this.
It's also the national TV games. I mean, Goodell, this report comes out, he's worried about the tush push, and he might want to get rid. Why don't you call the officials and bring them in your office and say, stay out of the way and knock this off?
Right.
Because we're coming off this and then the Thursday night debacle where, it's a flag every other play.
Every other play.
So just stay out of the way.
Visit VSiN.com to get current odds, listen for free, find showtimes, and download VSiN sports betting podcasts.